Hi, today is March the 22nd, 2021, and I wanted to read on the question of what do extraterrestrials in general here, what do they think of human beings? Now, I am basing this on the fact that I think that it is very, very likely that they exist, that some of these things that are seen and some of these experiences that have been throughout time being told, I believe there's some truth to them. So let's just take a look and see what the cards are going to tell us about that, and see what they think in general. Now, I'm sure there's more than one, and it's perhaps unfair to broad base, but I'll go for a general consensus, and I'll allow the universe to sort out the rest of the details. But I'm just going to ask, what is the opinion of human beings on Earth and this system that we have of being born and dying, and the life here is born and it dies, and then it's renewed again. So let's take a look and see what they make of the Earth and its systems and its creatures and its everything. But primarily I was asking about human beings. So I want to know, what do extraterrestrial life, energies, awareness, intelligence, these creatures, what do they make? What is their consensus about human beings at this time? How do they perceive us? How do most, how do most extraterrestrial life forms, life beings, how do these beings view us? How are we generally seen? Okay, let's give it a go. And again, I'm using the Mystic Mondays Tarot. The Sun. Okay, there is clarity. The Princess of Cups. Sure been drawing her a lot lately. The Queen of Wands. The Four of Cups. We don't know that they exist, or we don't notice them, but they're there. Look at that. We're too focused on our other stuff, on our own stuff, that we don't see them always, but that they are there. We're so used to saying, well, if I can see it, then it exists. But there's plenty of things that we can't, or it's not that we can't at all, it's that I believe for the most part we don't know how, or that part of our mind would need more help to be switched on in order to be able to perceive them or sense them. Personally, many of us don't, frankly, all want to. And, so there's good reason sometimes not to be just, you don't know what their intent is. That's my cynical point of view. And who's to say that they're all full of love and light and fluffiness? I have to think that there might be some that are not. And I think caution, yes, I'm rearranging my things as I'm talking here, my heating pad. So I think that it's interesting that we're getting that. We also get very feminine looking cards here, even with the Sun, and the Princess of Cups, and the Queen of Wands, and the Four of Cups. Great deal of passion and emotion. Okay, so just delving on here. There's this, okay, there's clarity. There will be, it shows, I'm being told that there will be clarity. Something that will be clear, something that will come to light. And it has more to do with the sensitivity in people. This is keeping an open mind in order to, I think the cards are saying that human beings need to keep an open mind because these beings do exist. We just are very stuck yet where we're saying, well, unless I can see it directly in front of me, which is silly because we know atoms and things exist and we can't see them, but we still have a very stoic, old-fashioned idea that we need to refine, and some things get rid of altogether. This notion, the way we treat things, these feelings that we have, don't always help us. But this is indicating there's also a certain playfulness with the Princess of Cups, and I think it's also saying don't think that they're all mean either. I think that there's a playfulness that keeps coming back with that Princess of Cups. So I think that there's a message of understanding that yes, they do exist, and they're not all bad and out to get us, and so on and so forth. So I'm very intrigued. I'm very intrigued by this. I think what they do notice about human beings, though, is the way that we treat our vulnerable. I am definitely getting that. I'm starting to tune in. Is how we treat our vulnerable people also. Our people that are, and people that are different. Something about that. You know, people who are sensitives, who make, particularly, you know, if you make such a claim that you've been in contact or that any kind of anything, you know, there's so much stigma. There's so much stigma. And they're saying, I'm getting right here, the universe is saying, human beings need to have more of an open mind, number one. And they need to understand that not everything also is out to get them. But, you know, you don't want to be naive either. So the Sun is about also, I have to clean my glasses, sorry. The Sun is also, I believe, about being seen, and usually by people that have a bit more of an empathy or something. I think that's especially true also if they're more innocent and open-minded, like children. And even if you're a grown person, if you can keep that magic, excuse me, of your open-mindedness, there will be clarity coming. So it's important to keep an open mind, because there is clarity about this that I think will come. And it is that I think also children, people that are more open-minded might be, it looks to me like aware. It's showing that with the sun, yes, they're here. But this to me is the people that don't pay any attention. They're more involved, I think, in their own, what's in front of them, and they don't want to know that there's a UFO floating behind them, But again, so they think of us as children, like children that were very immature yet, and pretty self-absorbed, that we like a lot of attention. But they're looking also at the women. And they see that the women are unhappy. Women where women want to be able to express their strength, their creativity, their professional authority. They also see that there's a lack of respect, we're still waiting, there's a lack of equality. That is abundantly clear to them. Especially so with regard to how we treat our vulnerable and our children and women stands out to them. And I think that they are more likely, but not always, because there are men, of course, that have had all kinds of experiences, and I believe legitimately so, of course. But I think, let's just see here, the Ace of Swords. So yes, I'm feeling like they're saying, we're here, we exist, but we have a definite opinion also about humanity that they've come to conclude. And that is the Knight of Pentacles, and that is that we are coming along, we are an earthly bunch, and we are slow, but steadily progressing. They really believe that our species needs to become more open-minded. And not to allow this message of don't allow that inner child to lose its wonder, its joy, its awe, and its ability to believe in things that can exist that one cannot see. There's plenty of good reasons for that. Scientifically now we know, so there's no excuse for this tired, old, stodgy kind of attitude that some people have. And so they're just urging that people open up, be a little playful, say, well, maybe, you know. So there's that encouragement. But I think they definitely see us as immature, not treating the women with equality. There's some apathy, a lack of feeling, a lack of caring. Because one is focused on other things and they don't think about whether or not extraterrestrials exist and what they think of us. But they do have an opinion about us. And that we like to win, that we're very competitive beings, and physical, the sports, I think, is interesting to them. That's funny. A Knight of Cups. So you notice how there's a lot of knights, and they look at us as very young. Women, though, where women, just pull an extra one. That our lives could be a lot more happy, more full. I think there's made, or will be made, there's a woman here. It's kind of jumbled up, but I do get a message. I definitely get a message that they're there. And I think that they want to make themselves known. And I think they will make themselves known. And, you know, okay, so that's just one. Four of Wands. To the public. The populace. Very competitive. And it's clear that we have a long we need to do a lot of hard work, and they're studying us and have been for some time. And we're steadily, I get, like, evolving also as society. They're looking at especially family, the interrelationships between, I think, people. And that they have approached. Oh, God. That they're there. that they've approached people or will approach people. That's crazy. Let me see. Yeah, this is, they're really interested in the, I think, reproductive aspects between male and female. And I'm getting DNA with these genetics. Interests them. See, this is the kind of thing of why I'm like, yeah, I don't want you going anywhere near me. Thank you very much. And there is judgment. You bet there is. Where our past, the choices we've made in our past, there's consequences. To me, that's judgment, but also becoming more aware. And I think they're waiting for us to evolve a bit here, to make contact, real contact with the public on a more regular basis. That's a bit ahead. But I do believe with this card that they will. And where we're sitting here and where we deny that they're there, or we just ignore or don't bother to think about it and disregard it, because we have a lot of emotional investment in maintaining that ignorance, but we also miss a great deal of enrichment, is what I see with that Nine of Cups. They consider us very poor in that way. We are ignorant. And here's us when we wise up, which is our next step. So they see that we have a little bit yet into the future to evolve, frankly, and become more mindful and present. And I think genetically also, I don't know, in the populace in the future will will evolve into having a greater awareness. But they're studying, it's over a long period of time, over a longer period of time. They've been studying us, I think. Take a look. Honing, making things better. See, they think that, we will eventually catch up and become a much more refined world with greater understanding of how the universe is, how it exists, and where we won't be as ignorant as we were way back here. So, and in a number of ways we will evolve. And we're on track with this Knight and the Eight of Pentacles of where we are as a society, as a world, working on it. So that's good. I'm feeling like sometimes, this is the sense of them going into the water, that they have going under the water. And this Eight of Cups is water again to me, but it's leaving, I think, behind it's usually abandonment. But I feel like this is more that the waters, they use our waters also, I think, as going in and out. Wonder, that's interesting. There's a radical change with that. A transformation. Something new with regard to working or learning or studying about the ocean and the biology. They're looking to see whether or not, I think, frankly, we take care of our planet. How we're doing that way. It looks like they really observe us quite a bit, although I did see a little real interest in our genetics and reproductive system, which is like, oh, God. None of those probes, folks. You stay away from them. Yeah, but they see that we have problems getting our craft to create a craft that can go like theirs. Look at that. And look at Egypt. This is a little trippy. I think they did visit Egypt a lot. Do I think that they made the pyramids and all that? No, I don't. I don't think you had UFOs lifting up tons of bricks and dropping them down magically into a pyramid. No, I don't believe that. But did they visit them? Absolutely. And I do feel like that was one of the more developed nations, frankly, long ago at the time. So I'm feeling like there could be a link there, a little nod through the symbol of the card. And I think that they're saying that there's competition here. There's, I think, going to also a struggle. I think to create a craft that can go, travel beyond what our current space, programs allow for, and our space equipment and rockets, all of that. We have yet to really catch up to their, I believe, technology, so to speak, for sure. So there's a struggle there for us. I believe they see us struggling there, that we haven't done that yet, and that we're still very youthful yet as a planet, and trying to work things out and bring about equality. And they're just like, wow, look at these people. I think we're their soap opera, frankly. Seven of Wands. Very defensive. and territorial. And to me, with the Three of Swords, this is about being assertive to deadly and hostile. They know that our defenses systems and whatnot would, that we have a very defensive position that we would take if they were to reach out. So I think that that's also part of what gets in the way of success, that we're just not ready for that quite yet. Yeah, we need to change our perspective. We need to open our mind and change our perspective. That doesn't mean drop our discernment. No, not at all. It means honor our discernment, open our mind up, and stop thinking so small. Because we're stuck in a very oppressive structure, if you will, where those that have wealth, those that are corrupt, have power and have control largely over, because they happen to be the most greedy, the most people, are very driven. But that is what has too long, it shows up here, maintained in our society, is this corruption of power. And that we need to change our perspective and realize what oppression is and how oppressive we live. It's a matter of perspective. So complicated. They see us as definitely complicated, but growing. The Two of Swords and the Six of Cups speaks about a peace, a peaceful agreement that has a past and nostalgia to it. I believe also they've been able to, there's something I'm getting about telepathic communication with people. They've let people know what they think in the past about humanity. And I'm sure some of these people have written books or whatever. Deadly. Violent. Extremely violent. That's why they stay away. The Hermit. That's why they, only approach certain people. And that they see humanity as being very violent. And they don't really want it in their society or in the way that they live. So that is why they have the Hermit. They don't really want to be part of that. But they're curious, about us and do watch us. The Lovers. That needs to be healed. They see that we keep ourselves from receiving love, from receiving I think they don't think that many of us get enough love, actually. And I mean unconditional. That we are very limited and extremely conservative in our way of what we believe and what we can accept on the whole. On the whole. And we could have, and may well have one day, bonds with some here, a good friendship, but for right now, they know that we're not quite ready for that. We're still a bit afraid and very, very, very much not sure about that. I feel like they also do take people. This is also abduction to me. And the lovers, they pick certain people. There is a choice about who they take and study. The Five of Pentacles, to me, is indicative sometimes of people that have health issues. We go, now that's fine, we get the 5, and then we got the 4, which is going back to stabilizing health. People that have health issues and then that need it stabilized. Not in a place of challenge. Oh wow, isn't this interesting? 40 minutes on. I don't mind. 6 of Swords. I will be wrapping this up, though. So this is them traveling. And I do believe helping people to get better. That's interesting. I also believe that they do pick certain people. They may have some weakness or frailty, I think, actually within their own form. Now, I'm just, when I get really relaxed, and I think, and I'm just kind of going with it, getting that their own bodies are not that strong. I do believe that they do take, I know it's but I do believe that they do, experiment and borrow our DNA so that they can have a stronger basic form. And then we got that 6 of Swords. This is movement, this is travel, but this, this is getting better as well. Feeling better, gaining strength. I think they take that elsewhere to their place and wherever it is that they reside, if you will, or their home planet. And I think that they take samples from us, and I'm not kidding, and I think that they develop things for their own species from it to strengthen their own health or physical bodies. I think they have weaknesses, though they have perhaps other aspects that are very, very formulated, but I think physically their bodies have a weakness, so that's why they're looking at our physical bodies and DNA. And I believe that they take this back and they improve upon it for them, I'm thinking themselves. squared. I get the 1 before, and then the 6, and then the 5, the 4, and then the, I think it was the, I don't know, 2, 3. It's interesting that it's linking up for sure. They know it's very stressful on us, though. Because we feel very helpless, and it stresses us out, and that can mess us up mentally. So they have become aware of that them doing these things can have a negative effect on those that they mess with. I'm getting them taking, yeah, you know what I'm going to say. Human eggs, or this is pregnancy, this is children, this is giving birth, healthy, vitality. So it could affect those that they do that to, but I think more that our race is somehow helping to strengthen aspects that they didn't have. DNA, something that they didn't have. So that they will be stronger, more robust, and healthy. I also believe that, yeah, they're fiddling around, taking women. I do believe it. I don't like that, but they do. But there's a bond here, and they are protective. They want to have a bond, but they're just watching us and waiting. That's interesting. Yeah, right now we have leaders that are just tyrants, that are just overwhelming. They're too much and too long in power, in a very oppressive manner. They find that our lives are very oppressive because they feel that our overall governing powers and the powers in this world are too corrupt. There is loss, a sense of mourning or loss about, again, they feel that there's a lot of people that die from violence and aggression. Because of, I think, the toxic masculinity instead of a healthy masculinity being shown to cis men and men in general. Been given a very toxic ideal, and it affects everyone else. So it's interesting that they see this, and so they think our leadership, and I think they're pretty much right, is oppressive. They don't want to deal with it, and that they kill a lot of people, that there's a lot of sorrow. This is grieving loss, and this is activity. And I also think that they're saying that these types of tyrants they're going to get their power checked. That's what's going on right now. Yeah, it's a time of, they watch us, we're a soap opera to them. It's a time of our reevaluation, reassessment, rearrangement, in order to continue to grow in the way that is most beneficial. And the High Priestess is really the area that we need to develop is our intuition. Developing and opening up our mind and not being so terrified and remaining stuck. And you do it gently. You tend to it like a garden. And you grow your intuition. And that's what their message really is. Human beings are pretty violent and have a lot of very violent territorial leadership. So they tend to kind of keep their distance. They know us. They know us maybe a little better than we even know ourselves. And that's interesting that they pick, definitely, who they interact with or even take. And I feel like they get samples and then they drop people back off. But I think now they're starting to be aware of what they're doing can really just be destructive to people. So they don't want that. Okay. So I think I'm going to leave it there. And if you like this content, I could go on reading this for days. Please just make sure that you hit the like button and the subscribe button. Thank you so much. And don't forget to share.